going to try something different here. Instead of the step cord that I normally use, I'm trying a tapered core. A little less meat on this end. Actually, this is oversized right now, so that's not a fair representation. But this tapered one will have a little less meat here, the same amount here. But the nice thing is, the forearm will have a consistent wall thickness over its whole length. I'm going to take this 1-inch dowel and cut the taper on it now. I'm going to use Kelly's Q-Cut program to generate the taper that I'm cutting here. Actually, I've already done it, but I'll show you how easy it is to call it up again. This is awkward because the camera's in my way, but file, I'm going to load the parameters that I use to generate the taper. Okay, for my tapered core roughing, open that up. It tells me that it's loading those parameters. And here's what I have. I'm cutting the small diameter of the taper 640. The piece is 13.5 inches long. That's my cutter diameter, the direction I'm cutting. I'm going to take 3 passes on a 1-inch dowel. Feed rate's 35 inches per minute. Cut in both directions. And I'm not going to take a finish cut or anything because I'm going to do that later, because this is actually a straight taper. My finish cut is going to have a little straight diameter on the end of it. In fact, I'll show you that now. For the finish diameter, I'll load those parameters. That's the tapered core finish. Okay, now I'm using a compound taper here. And to show you what it's like, okay, with a 622, it's calling it the joint size, but it's basically the small end of this taper. We're going to call that 622 diameter. 1 inch back, it's also going to be 622 diameter, and it's showing a straight line here. And then from this point to here, I'm going to use the same taper that I have on my cube. So the distance, okay, 13.5 inches back, it's going to go from 622 to 808. I put 820 over here just in case I have a piece that's longer than 13.5, it'll feather it out. But that's the profile that I'm going to cut on there. From here up to this taper, and actually everything beyond here won't count because the piece is only that length. So I'm going from 622, 13.5 inch length, same cutter diameter, cut towards the headstock. I check the used compound taper, and I'll do this at a 15 inch per minute feed rate. Now the finished core, it's 5/8 diameter for 1 inch, and then the rest of the taper matches the taper that I have on my cube. So that when the core goes into the forearm, the wall thickness on this end is going to be the same as the wall thickness on that end. In fact, if I take 2 of these, the same on each end, same on each end, I can reverse them, and you can see a little more clearly there. Same wall thickness. Now these are about 3/16, I'm sorry, these are about an 1/8 inch oversized now. The wall thickness on these is about 3/16. That's 1 inch, or that's 0.190. And it's also the same on this end. And this core, it fits in there. It's like a Morse taper. It's very difficult to get out of there. In fact, it's tight enough that I can take one of these that has the tapered hole in it. I can install that in there, and that's all I need to support it, to rough that taper down from this piece of stock down to this. In fact, why don't we do that?